Golden Drum.
Everyone, thanks for your patience and thanks for community building in the Aquarian age. It's now time for our main event, panel discussion. I'd like to introduce our guests. Our good friend, Itzhak Beery. He's a co-founder of the New York Shamanic Circle, author of the book, The Gift of Shamanism. He's an accomplished teacher on the New York Open Center faculty and trained in many shamanic disciplines. I highly encourage that you check out the bio on the Golden Drum website. If you haven't, we don't have the time to tell everything that he's done, but he's definitely a welcome member of our panel today and a good friend of Golden Drum. We always love being a part of the New York Shamanic Circle's gathering in autumn time here in New York. It's amazing, and it really helps to build community. Also on our panel is Amanda Capobianco. She is on the board of the Sacred Arts Board of Directors and the Sacred Arts Research Foundation, which is just a couple doors down, and a sister organization to Golden Drum. She is a fantastic yoga teacher and gives retreats in just about every continent that isn't covered in ice, but hey, that may be coming. She's an amazing musician, healer, and we're really glad. She's also the founder of the health and wellness concierge service Brooklyn Light. So check that out as well. And also on our panel today is Maestro Manuel Rufino. We're very grateful that he is here in town. He has a very extensive travel schedule around the world. He's the founder of Golden Drum and the inspiration and visionary behind the Jumbo Cafe, the Sacred Arts Research Foundation. He is a master healer, teacher of initiatic traditions and sacred traditions from around the world. Again, check out all of their bios on our website, goldendrum.org. They are more extensive than that, and we are really blessed and honored that they are here today. Facilitating, moderating today's panel discussion is Sadek Bazara, who is the Director of Studies for the Initiatic College here at Golden Drum. In technical terms, he is a computer genius, and a humble one at that. And I highly recommend that you explore his website, galacticresonance.com, which also shares and enlightens and really facilitates the discussion on esoteric traditions and spiritual traditions from around the world. I like to think of it as a very scientific approach to what America considers the supernatural, and it is amazing. So we're really blessed, and at this time I'm going to hand it over to Sadek. Thank you very much for being here.
Well, thank you, Moon, for that warm and beautiful introduction, and welcome everyone. It's really lovely to gather here today. It looks like we're off to a great start with all the faces. We're doing quite a good job with community building. We have a beautiful panel of teachers and healers and cultural leaders, and each one of them carrying a very beautiful and unique vision on how to build community through example and direct action. So we're very honored to sit with you and have you share your wisdom with us today. And as many of you know, we are honoring and celebrating the life and work and vision of Maestro de la Ferriere, who is a member and in some ways founder of a lineage that many of us, in particular, community of Golden Drum, under the tutelage of Maestro Manuel Rufino, sort of extend from his vision and teachings. So with that, I would like to open the discussion with Maestro Manuel to perhaps share a bit of the Sublime Master Serge Reynaud de la Ferriere's vision as a great messenger of the Aquarian age.
Well, good evening, everybody. Welcome to the Golden Drum. So, This panel discussion is to honor the visions of Dr. de la Ferrière. He was born in 1916, so he's 100 years old. We are just celebrating his visions about or the new vision for humanity. So in 1948, between him and one of his main students, Dr. Jose Manuel Estrada, then they got together to form, or to get together a group of organizations to form a new vision. After all what happened in the First World War and the Second World War, then a new vision emerged of trying to build tolerance and understanding, trying to bring peace and harmony and so on. And so they were advocating for a new age, a new platform on thinking and community building. So tonight, it is what we are trying to do. He was born in France. So most of his work were done in Latin America. He wrote about 100 books on all kind of topic, esoteric teachings, vegetarian diet, yoga, astrology, astronomy, Kabbalah. Well, he was just a person that put forward a lot of knowledge and research. And then in his process, he thought that it was time to create new type of community, a new vision for communal based tolerance and understanding. So I am not going to keep talking anymore because we will be talking about this on the panel. So thank you.
Thank you. Itzhak, perhaps you would like to share a little bit about the seeds of your vision, and we know a little bit from your bio and what Moon shared, but you've had extensive training and work and traveling, and I feel that you carry the vision of community in the world. So,
first of all, I want to really say that when I walked in today, the vision of community was here. I mean, all these little kids around here, that's community. And I remember coming here many years ago. There was only like a bunch of fresh faces who like had big dreams with big beautiful eyes, but they didn't have kids yet. And coming here today and to see all these kids running around and the way their parents is holding them, and the community tolerate them and with such love. This is community. This is really about building community. I think community is first and mostly is about size. In the indigenous communities, the tribes are always they're small villages or small communities that live together. They know each person by name, and I think that as urbanization and industrialization progress in the Western world, we disconnected. And the larger the community, the larger the cities, the larger the town, the less community we have. And our role, or the New York Shamanic Circle role in the largest metropolitan area in the world, is to bring that back, or to remind ourselves that it's a human need to be in communication and intimacy with other people. most diseases that we are having here in our world, addictions and physical and emotional, are connected to that, connected to the disconnect or the lack of intimacy, or lack of community. There was a research done not long ago about addictions, smoking, drugs, alcohol, and it really shows that people who are addicted, they feel lonely, disconnected from the community. And the more we have a stronger community, or even if they have people around them, their addiction disappears. So we are trying again to resolve health problems or issues, mental problems with medications or shots, treatment centers and all that. But really what they need is people around them, people who love them, people who can hug them, people who can be there and listen to them. And we need that. We need to create that community. Mm-hmm. I'm sure we're going to have a lot of other questions. So I'm going to leave it like that. I just want to say that the New York Shamanic Circle is in its 19 years, we are the oldest shamanic community in the city. We operate a little different than the Golden Drum in the sense that we don't have a physical space. But we have thousands of people who are coming to our events, and they're open out. We are their community, their home. So that's really a big part of what we do, is building community, building a place, a place where people who have need for community and walking the path or searching for the path to come and hang out with us and learn.
Thank you. So I think there's an interesting distinction to consider. You're talking about place and space, and that brings ideas of community and communities, which we can move in between, and the idea of living in a community, for example, which is rather unique about Golden Drum. And I think maybe Amanda could share some experiences and insight that speaks to that difference, as well as the vision that you hold and carry with community building through Brooklyn Light and your yoga practice and retreats and trainings.
Well, the vision of Brooklyn Light was really to expand people's awareness that there is healing available for all beings at all stages of being. So it really formed as a bridge to, connect all of these people that I knew that were practicing meditation and exploring different forms, different tribal ways of healing, having different teachers influence them, and to bring that work into the privacy of that person's home so that they could then, brush upon this experience, because not everyone has the capacity in their life to want to give up all of their busy life, their busy schedule, and stop and drop and come here into a space where we're continually offering events like that are expanding consciousness. So how can we then go into these people's homes and begin to expand their consciousness there? So that was the vision, and remains as such. I've been a community member of Golden Drum for about 5 years, and I moved into the community a little bit over a year ago. And for me and my life path, I knew that it was what I needed to do in order to move into another level of existence on my spiritual path. And I don't know that it's for everyone, because it's like a deep scrubbing. It's a deep scrubbing. It's many mirrors, many sets of eyes to reflect back to you in any moment, your highs and your lows. So it definitely takes a certain quality or makeup to want to be in that and to want to stay in that. When it's high, it's like unbelievable. Going to bed at night and having 5 roommates and experiencing pure harmony, it's like I'm so grateful when I go to bed, and I'm so grateful when I wake up in the morning for the home and the simplicity and the fluidity, and that we're all working really hard. Everyone has different businesses that they run, some mission that they're on within the greater mission. But somehow, because of how it's set up and the rules, if you will, that we abide by, and the practices that we keep, and the cleanliness that we adhere to, it just flows. It's fluid. The hard parts are really hard because, again, it's mirrors. You're just being mirrored your own process, right? So it's much easier to go and hide. It's much easier to go and live alone and not really confront any of it, or wait maybe until it decides to confront you at a deeper level. But even then, there's that support, which I think was what you were getting at. There's that support and that communal embrace, even if it isn't somebody talking to you directly, it's a communal support, a divine agreement to be a part of this arrangement and to help one another through this process, through their next level of being. So I'll leave it at that.
Thank you. So I think also, given the constitution of the panel, there's a lot of awareness and experience of shamanic traditions and traditional cultures, which operate very differently than we do in a modern society, modern civilization. So how do we understand the benefits of what works in those traditional cultures and apply that to a modern era? And perhaps Maestro Manuel, you may have some thoughts around this.
Well, I've been living in community for about 42 years, all over the world, South America, Europe, and here in the US. So I've been traveling and being mainly trained by my teacher and teachers of the tradition in American Indian tradition. So I've been living directly with a lot of native community and observe how things works there, the economy, the culture, the religion, the politics, the families, and so on. One of the things that I have observed there is peace. Very little violence. Very few times you see, a father hitting a son or a daughter, and the same happened with the mothers. I have never seen also men abusing excessively a woman, or in the opposite way, a woman abusing her powers. The structure there, and where both of them hold a very key part of the economic of the family and the community. Based on those models, and the way that it works, and where everybody is parents of everybody. There is no like this is my child and don't touch it and don't do nothing, but the whole community take care of every single child that is there, teaching them, guiding them in many ways. And the same, when there is a problem in the marriage, the whole community help. There is a lot of support, because marriage sometimes is a very lonely place if you don't find support in a period of problems, because natural things appear. So one of the things that I notice on this traditional community is the values of the community, the support that is for each other, then the values of the elders in the community, which in general are people that have a lot of visions and a lot of knowledge, direct knowledge of human experience. Then there is always a house for women and a house for men where they gather there anytime that there is a particular problem with a woman. Then all the women get together to talk about it. If there is a problem with the men, they all men get together to talk about it. And then they also get together, men and women, elders, to find common vision when there is a problem. So this creates a lot of harmony. Before the problem becomes a big situation, there is always a solution. Whether there is a celebration, there is a ceremony, there is a healing. So one of the things that I noticed there is the philosophy of healing, where you cannot heal an individual without healing first the community that is around the person. You can go ahead and try to go to a psychologist yourself, but what happens when you come back home? If the rest of the members of the family are not being healed, that individual will not find support for healing. So community healing is a very important part of traditional cultures. There is not isolated sickness. All sickness is communal. When there is something, they immediately address the community to find solution for that. So there is always trying to find the least violence way to solve any problem. So they in reality are not accustomed to violence, revenge, all these things. It's natural. You find problems like that everywhere, but it's not ingrained in the nature of the community. So, as I've been living in different communities since I was about 17, I been experiences the economy of community get really strong when everybody get together to create something. So that's why for many years, as I was coming in and out of the US, then people will begin to gather and do sweat lodges and ceremonies and meditations and workshops and many things. Then as I was talking to each individual, I said, so how much do you pay on your apartment? $2,400, $1,800, $1,600. Say, okay, but then when you go to the apartment, it's a small 4x4 piece with a small kitchen, with a bathroom that you cannot even go to it. And so I said, well, it would be better to get together and instead to each person pay $1,600, $1,800, $2,400. Maybe we just pay $400, $600 or less. Say, no, I don't think that is possible. Say, no, it is possible. Also with the vision that one day you don't have to pay rent, because all the community activities, all the things that are done is to support the individual, so that the individual can say, I'm going to South America, to the jungle for 3 months, going to Tibet, going to India. So that way you don't have to be worried about money. And then you know that when you are not working, the community will support you. There is a need for it. So from the economical point of view, then it went from 2,000 to 600 or 900, and then the community have a big space for practices, and then many teachers pass through the community from all traditions: Buddhists, shamans, Jewish, Muslim, Hindu. It doesn't matter. It's a small university. So a lot of things is happening here every day. If you are not a musician, eventually you become one. If you are not a painter, eventually you become one. You don't know how to meditate, eventually you know how to do it. And it just go like that, because in reality, human being doesn't need people to teach you anything. Things come by osmosis. You just, like a sponge, absorb things. You directly absorb things from your environment. So this is the main thing for community. And then the isolation created by modern way of living, and where you move into an apartment and you can live there for 20 years and you don't know who is the neighbor in front of you. You go inside the elevator and you don't know who is who. Everybody's afraid to even say hello and good morning. So it happened to me, because I live for many years in many big buildings. In order to break with that, I needed to just introduce myself continuously and ask the other person, who are you, where did you live? But even afraid to do that, because the person may think that I am asking questions to go and take something. So, but I just wanted to, break with the fear that, why are we so afraid? We're living in the same city, we commute in the same trains, we work in the same places, but there is no sense of community, because when you're sick, there is nobody around to really help you. If you have a child or a family, there is no help. It's really difficult. Couples living together, by the time that they end up separated, you can see that there is no ears, that the snow is gone, and because there is nobody checking you or being friends or something. So community is to create a real sense of support in all process, whether you are in the high of your life or in your low. So most traditional culture, there is a sense of the individual, but the sense of community is also there. It's well balanced. In our modern culture, there is no sense of community. There is individuals that live on each small space where they live. So then this is one of the benefits that I see on traditional culture. There is a great sense of the we, a great sense of why are we here, a great sense of celebration for things continuously. There is always something going on. They celebrate anything. The moon is full, they celebrate. The moon is new moon, they celebrate. The plants are coming up, they celebrate. It's time to pick up the plant, they also celebrate. Let's go to the river and there's a celebration. There is always a celebration and it's always free. So that's why when I suggest that we do this, I say no, it needs to be for free. We cannot charge for it. It doesn't mean that we all are not contributing to the process, but the main part is not just the making money situation, but the capacity of being community.
So in this spirit of celebration, we open this beautiful gathering with song and dance, and that always tends to loosen people up and awaken something special in the hearts. What is the role and function of song and dance in uniting people from completely different backgrounds? We see it, and it's a very important aspect of shamanic cultures, and we experience it in modern cultures as well. You go to whatever the event of your choice. Maybe you're at a rave, maybe you're at a drum circle, whatever it is, but then everything breaks down and people are enwrapped with the song and dance, and there seems to be something really special there. What is that? What's the function and role of celebration to build community?
Do you want to?
Joy. I would say to bring lightness and, joy, and it's the energy moving through the body in celebration. It's union, and it's breaking down barriers, being able to dance, being able to sing, drumming the heartbeat, connecting to the heartbeat, connecting to each other, and experiencing something where everyone can in some way participate, even if they're not dancing, just being in the essence of that vibration.
I've seen it in the park, Itzhak, with the shamanic circle gatherings. It's just, there's that drum, and then, people just come by and gather, and all of a sudden there's a group, and nobody knows anybody, but everyone's celebrating.
Well, I promise you that if we stand up and hug each other, we will feel more sense of community from what I'm going to be saying. If we sing together, if we touch each other, if we dance together, if we, celebrate, the ceremonies that's how we human connect. They're not connect through words. Words really separate people. The emotional, the closeness, the intimacy, that's what really make community together. So if I don't speak Spanish, I can still hug the person and feel that heart. And I don't speak Spanish, but I have many Spanish-speaking shamans all around the world, and that's the way we communicate. I speak a little bit, but but it's not the language really. It's what's in your heart, what's in your energy, how you. So I think that the whole idea of ceremonies are very important. In the shamanic communities, everything is a ceremony, like Maestro said. It's the celebration of life. The question is how do you bring celebration and rituals into our modern life here in the city, in New York, in larger metropolitan areas. I think that we are talking about community, but we're not talking about community in indigenous cultures. We're talking about community here. How do we gotta bridge that? And I think that one of the things is that communities are done in small groups. So you have to start with your own community, with your own family, with your own friends. Build around that. When we started to do the New York Shamanic Circle, we invited our families, we invited our friends to come and join us. That really was the core of the core of our circle in many ways. And so we started to know each other and grow each other and trust each other. So I think that it's really come from you. How do you open yourself up to people in your circle, telling them that you do shamanic work, that you do spiritual work, that you are interested in building a community. We have a lot of fear in our hearts to share that we are a spiritual being with the people that work with us. How many people here would go tomorrow to their work and tell them, hey, you know what, I'm doing shamanic work? Two people. So how many people here will go tomorrow and say to the people who work with you and your family that you did ayahuasca? 2, 3, 4? Well, that's the thing. If we are holding our innermost important aspect of ourselves as a secret, and we're not sharing it with the people that are close to us, we think that this is something wrong with us, then how can we build community? So I encourage you to get out of the closet. And share with people, and you will be surprised, because people who are or you're already in a relationship with, they are like you. They are vibrating in the same vibrations. They're not very different. And if they do, they'll come back to you. So my thing is to say, and I was in the same place, I ran an advertising agency and I had clients and I work with big clients. And they knew that I'm sneaking out and going to the Amazon, and I'm sneaking out and going, disappearing to teach somewhere here and there. They didn't understand exactly what it is, and finally I just said, that's what I do. And I was really surprised that a lot of those people who are in high places, they wanted to do what I do. They were jealous in many ways, and. It is about sharing the most important part of yourself with your community. That's how you start building a community. It has to be a community that based on opening your heart and sharing what's in your heart. You can't just go and say, talk about the new movie, or talk about the baseball game, or talk about the next political thing, and it's really artificial. And I'm coming from a culture. I was born in a kibbutz, Beit Alpha, which is kibbutz of the communists of the communists in Israel. We lived in commune, in a commune similar to that. So I know what it is. And I know how hard it is sometimes to experience what you experience. When you are together, it's the most amazing thing. And when you're difficult times, it's hard. But there is a power in community to achieve goals that individual cannot do. Mm-hmm. And I think that part of the problem for the United States which is a country of immigrants, that the old immigrants who came here had this idea that each individual can do it on his own. This Wild West mentality. I'm going to go there, I'm going to kill these Indians, and I'm going to get myself a piece of land, and I'm going to be raising these cows and chickens with my own wife, and that's it. I'm going to kill everybody who's coming my way. That's a dream of Ayn Rand and all those people who aspire to that, of individualism. That dream kills us. Mm-hmm. It's not a dream that provide us for the future. That's why the shamans, the Shuar shamans, when John Perkins asked them what can he do for them, asked them to change our dreams. We need to change the dream that I, myself, by myself, can change the world. I'm by myself going to be a star. I'm going to be... No, we are all connected. We are all interconnected. We are all dependent on each other, and we better admit that. If you go to the Amazon, the first thing that I saw, which was amazing to me, was I was just watching the plants and the trees. They are trees, individual trees, but each tree is a community. There are so many parasites on these trees. There are so many animals and birds and creatures live on that tree. And there's no one tree that is pure by himself. And I think that if you go to the jungle, or you go to a forest or anywhere, this is a great teaching for community. Community is about allowing other people to live their own in their own way and to have the resources from them also, because each plant on that tree, each orchids or each what is it called, all these beautiful plants there, they all supply the nutrients and the space and the air and the light for each other plant. Each one have a role. So we are talking about how we change our consciousness from individualistic consciousness. I can do it myself, I don't need anybody else. I'm going to buy myself the biggest villa, the biggest house in the Hamptons, and I'm not going to share it with anyone, or I'm going to buy a car, to a place of sharing, of making your life commitment to help other people, and by helping other people, it helps you and your family and your community to grow. Did I say too much?
Sharing. I think that's a beautiful aspect of how to build and develop community. Thank you. You mentioned a couple of words, trust and fear. I think you're touching on something that comes up as a stigma around the idea of community. Where there, I think, is a lot of fear around the idea of community, which often stems from the misuse of structures and powers, the dogma of religions, superpowers misusing their tools and forms of control. So perhaps these are things that stimulate fear and mistrust, like, oh, community, I don't know. Is that it's like cliquish, it's a strong community, but I don't know how to approach, I feel separate from it. But it's an inviting community, so there's something there in fear and trust, and how do you engage with a really beautiful and strong community? I think that's one area to discuss and consider. And along with that, is it possible for a community to continue to grow its structure, to continue to grow and preserve its integrity? We see the rise and falls of many great civilizations. It starts out small, as you were saying, and then grows into a very enlightened period. And then there's the arc that comes down where the powers begin to get manipulated and confused. So is it possible? How do we do that? How do we build and sustain lasting communities? So fear, trust, and lastingness.
Well, it's the lack of community what create the problem. So the mistrust that is to groups that come together around somebody. That is no community. That is some kind of, putting yourself on somebody else's terms. That is no community. Community is different. Community means that we all are going to make decisions. Community means that we are going to sit down to look at a problem and so on. When there is no community, then somebody imposes, whether with mental manipulation or through violence or through strong words or through strong character and so on. And that is no community. And precisely because there is no community, that is what creates the problem. Because the community is gone. It's just a very individualistic situation where a group of individuals select the most individual person in the group to lead them into something. That is no community. That's why in traditional community, there is no like one person leading nothing. There is a community leading the community. No one person leading things and saying what needs to be done. The community sit down to make decisions. So most of the fear that we have comes because precisely there is no sense of community. What it is that there is an individual that puts something together to benefit themselves only, and they impose everything. The community is not really participating. But when the community is participating, that everybody makes decisions and can say, I don't agree to that, or maybe there is a better way to do that, then that is different. What we need to learn is to build community, a sense of we are all going to sit down to find solutions to problems. There are some individuals that have more vision in certain areas, then we allow them to do it. That's what we call, that is what the elders in traditional communities are. They are not there to impose, and they in general do not impose nothing. There is always a sense of community making decisions about things. Otherwise, if there is one person making all the decisions, then there is no a community. That's why then we have dictatorships and many other forms of government where one person imposes everything. And that is no community. That is just a bunch of individuals that decide to get together, and the stronger individual make the decision, whether through fear or violence or impositions. So, but when we begin to build community, real community, there is a sense of let's make a decision about something. Let's talk about it. So, and then that's the reason why most of the problem that we have in the culture is that somebody is the boss of a business. There is not a group of people making decisions. No, this is my business and you're going to do exactly as I say. And if you don't say it, you don't do it, I'm going to fire you. They create a series of a structure of fear. That nobody's able to say nothing, comment on anything, and so on. There is no community. That is just imposition based on fear. When there is community, the community make the decisions, and they make the laws of the community. And they decide to change it based on what things that do not work. If this doesn't work, so let's change it. Let's create something new. It's not a rigid idea. So most of the fear of community is not the community, it's the lack of it that we are afraid of.
Thank you. In the spirit of community, we have a lot of people here, and I think it'd be nice to transition to questions from the audience. So hopefully you guys have been gestating on some things that you would like to know more about. I already see one hand up in the back. Matt?
Hi. For those who are interested in creating a spiritual community, can you give some things that you've observed with other communities and how they've been able to start a successful community?
Sure.
I think again it starts with sharing. You know, if you have friends or you have people you know, share with them your vision. You have to come together with clear understanding. What do you want? The vision of that community. You know, spirituality is big and vast field. So you want to, if you have a vision of creating a community, find its mission and enroll people into your mission, into your vision. I know in our shamanic circle, we started with one vision which needed to be updated, and some people were not aligned on that vision. And so they left our group, and other people who were more aligned in that came in. I think it's very important to either to discuss this with a group of people but you have to find the path. You have to find the goal of that, and to be aligned with it.
I'd like to speak to that as well. What I find to be very successful in the environment here is that everyone is committed to some form of practice. So there's an individual sense of practice, there's a communal practice that we might participate in together, but is not in any way forced upon us. But there is, because we are not just an intentional community, but a spiritual community, we're on a specified path. But we adhere to those practices that keep our vibration at a very conscious level, a very high level. And I think that by coming to that, having some sort of individual practice that you're committed to helps keep the energy very clear, and it also breeds that sense of communion and connection. So I would share and converse and maybe see who it is that you're practicing with, who are you sharing time with, what are your values, and open up the conversation from there. If you're choosing to live in community, like just beyond, gathering once a month or however that is, but to live in community, I think that having guidelines is very helpful. The things that you allow into the home and the things that you don't allow into the home, and that it's perceived as not an oppression, but as a way to protect the energy of what you're doing, because it's not easy. It sounds so magical, and it is, but it's also a tremendous amount of work and a deep dedication to not get distracted. So yeah.
Well, I think that, for example, the drum have a different approach to community than the ark, because the ark is, for example, as a community, more toward the arts. So what we are trying to do is to create a vision that all artists that have something special toward the sacred, you are going to come together to create something. And that is what is happening there. It's just a bunch of artists, musicians, painters, craftsmen, and so on. They all get together to visualize as an artist where we wanted to go, what it is that we wanted to do. And then everybody put there, whether money, time, talent, whatever thing that you have to provide for that vision that is communal. It's not somebody else's vision. It's always a spark or inspired by somebody that had the first vision. So let's get together and maybe all the artists, we have this idea. Because yes, we know the term is starving artists. Yeah, because they wanted to paint and do music and do many things, but the culture is not providing economical support to that. All culture have been able to support the art, and we are not doing it. So artists have to work as a outside waitress and carpenters and do many things. By the time that they get home, it's really difficult to create. They just get frustrated. So why we don't just get together and create something toward that, so that the arts and the artists can flourish. So it's just a matter, whatever idea that you have. You are a scientist, maybe you wanted to put your energy toward that. You are a spiritual person, then okay, so you get together with another spiritual people to have a vision. Maybe we create something. The drum was created on that particular vision that yogis, shamans, Hindus, people with different vision wanted to come together to do something. And that's why everybody here had different practices. Nobody had one single practice. Some people practice Kundalini yoga, other people practice Ashtanga, other people are Buddhist monk, other people. So we are just having one vision, a spiritual thing, okay? So we are going to get together to do that. So what you need to do is you have a vision about something, don't be afraid, just put it together. Find people that share the same vision, because when a group of people get together, they are not following somebody's vision. No, the vision is common. We all have a vision towards something. We are looking all towards something. Then we are going to get together to make that a reality. How do we get the numbers together to make that a reality? So based on talent. So that's why we decided to put a restaurant together. Some people have money, other people are chefs, other people are computer artists, other people develop the website, other people, it was a communal project. Each one put what they have. Some have money and other people have talents, service and so on. So yes, we can get together a project to do whatever that we wanted to do as soon as there is a bunch of people, a group of people together to have the same vision. And then how we are going to support that economically. Each one of us have some particular gift. So we just put that as the service. So community building is just finding out, like Itzhak Beery, what is the vision? And then bring people together that have the same vision that you have. And then you will find out that you all have the same dream, you are dreaming the same idea. And then how to protect it and make it grow. I hope.
Thank you. I wanted to add one other thing. I was speaking with Itzhak before we started, and just asking what he'd been up to and everything, and he shared with me that he had received an award as an ambassador of peace from the UN. So I wanted to congratulate you on that beautiful honor. But what you were mentioning, I felt very excited and inspired by, in terms of kind of moving past borders and divisions and in a political arena on the world stage and finding commonality and common ground. And you were mentioning a little bit of a shift from kind of leaving the conversation of religion behind and moving it to just the idea of spirituality.
Yeah.
And I thought maybe it'd be nice to share a little bit about the experience.
Yeah, it was kind of interesting because the UN, when it started, decided not to touch anything to do with religion or spirituality, and nobody could agree on anything to do with spirituality or religion. So every decision, every vote was stopped. So they decided to drop all of it. But in the last few years, there is a greater understanding around the UN that spirituality really needed to be talked about. And they have now a few departments that really works with interfaith or all faith initiatives. And that's actually very exciting. And they're trying to find a language to use. And so the idea is that that all people on this earth believe in one God, and that one God have come with many different names and genders, but that's the commonality of spirituality on all in every indigenous and every religions, that there is one God. The practices of each tribe or religions are different. So the idea is that we are all one, we are all believe in one God. And that's a beautiful place to begin. So the whole idea of one religion saying that my God is better than your God, or that create division, that create, like you said, alienation. I can't trust Muslim, I can't trust Jews, I can't trust, because they have that label. Are we going with that into a world that recognize that God is the unseen force, the mystery, the great mystery, and then we can all align on that, and all humanity will be accepting that as the common ground and allowing other people to experience differences. That's really the idea of peace. So that there's a strong initiative now in families and in youth and in other religions in the UN to find the commonality, find the ability to tolerate and understand that we are all one and we are all the same. And that's beauty. The difficult for me yesterday was that the language that they are talking about, they are talking in the old way. They're talking still about Jesus and what God said, what God wants, what God dictates to us, which is a dangerous place to be, because God has no interest in us. And God is oblivious to what you want. It's your decision. God is a force. It's in our understanding, God is the sun. The sun is emanating lights everywhere to everyone without consideration. If you like it or you don't, if you get sick or not, or if you have a war in your heart or not. The main goal is to emanate light. And it's in the same way for us. If we have the light inside ourselves, and we project the light outside, you can't make the light go one way or not the other. So you have to love everybody. You have to include everybody in the love that comes and emanate. So the language is still, I think, an old language, especially from the heads of the departments, and maybe because they are not with us yet, but the direction is wonderful. That I'm recognizing that we are all one, we are all the same, we are all one community of humans on this earth. And I hope that that will be the charter of the UN, that we are that humans are part of the animal kingdom on this earth, not better, not worse, just the same as others, and we are all under one God, on the great mystery.
Well, that sounds like a start of changing the dream.
Yes, and it really is the change of dream. And the question is, and I'm not a conspiracy theorist, but would corporations, organizations, insurance companies, political groups, oil companies allow that to happen, or in the media, would they march behind this idea? Because there is money to be made in separation. There is money to be made of enticing one race against the other. War is a profitable thing. Separation is a profitable thing. So, do we change our dream from a war society to a peaceful society? Do we invest in the peace instead of investing in war machines? And so, if corporations and organizations will be run by people like you, which is what the dream is, then we have a chance. If corporations will start making money in solar energies and free energies, and then we have a chance. But I think that it is so important to build the communities that support that vision, that each of us has a dream like that, of inclusiveness and understanding that my God is not better than yours. It's the same God. And if we can hold that vision, then I'm not separate from you, you're not separate from me, I'm not smarter than you, I'm a student as much as you, we are all students, we are all on our path here. And that's what I hope to. That's what I hope, the peace initiative and the vision for our grandchildren, our great-grandchildren. I hope it's going to be for next year. And you never know, if with the more people, if we have more community like the Golden Drum and the New York Shamanic Circle and other organizations like these, if we have more communities like these speaking out and opening spaces in people's hearts to accept the commonality of all humans and animals and trees. I think that there will be a tipping point. That's what I believe, that we don't have to believe in the old dreams of separation and occupation and war. We can dream a dream of peace, dream of sharing, equality. This is an amazing place. I was just in Ecuador with a group of people, and we had a few, of course, ayahuasca ceremonies. And the vision that I got there was so beautiful because it was all about beauty. And I said, why do you show me beauty? Why do you show me flowers and trees and beautiful animals and beautiful people? I mean, I'm not interested in Walt Disney. I want you to show me something really big, really important, dramatic. I had those before. And the message was really, teach people how the world is beautiful. You can't teach people how bad the world is. Teach them the beauty. Look at the flowers, look at the trees, look at all this beautiful creation that God created here, and look at this beauty. Isn't it a shame to let it go? So come from that place of the experience of beauty. And who can deny that? Who wants to live in a place of war or place of poverty, or if the world is so beautiful, and it's truly beautiful. My God, Yeah, my God. Our God.
Maestro, how do we transcend these limitations and move the vision forward? Vision of harmony.
Well, during the 60s, there was a belief that it was impossible to change the way that we were cultivating our food. There was a sense of hopelessness, that will never change. But then we began to talk about organic farming, local farming, becoming vegetarian, changing your diet, and so on. So 30 years later, it has become, 50 years later, it has become a reality that it is possible. So it is possible to keep dreaming. The elders say that it is possible and that it's coming. So we don't need to wait for corporation to allow us to change things. We don't have to use any type of violence to do that, or try to, damage any corporation to get into something. Just act locally, in a small scale. You don't do anything to try to change the world, it's just not possible. You can change a little bit of it around you, your community, on a small scale. And then if the model work, everybody will say, that is very special. We would like to have organic food. It is possible. So the same happened with what is coming, which is very special because humanity is slowly beginning to visualize the dream. We are all beginning to see it, that it is possible. It is growing slowly. Like always, there is a lot of negative things happening around, but there is also a lot of positive things happening. A lot of it. If we work on small communities things, then we know that it is possible to visualize people in a new way, more tolerance, because yes, the reason for the topic, the community in a new age, on a new vision. It is because the old vision was my family, my religion, my small group of people, my situation, but things are changing. We are all coming together. People from all races and colors, from all type of belief system, genders. All of that is disappearing, and we are coming together as a community. That is happening naturally. As the consciousness change, we understand that there is no way to grow when you have people, like in the case of New York City, that come from all over the world. So we need to create a different model. The model before of, just me and my Jewish community, or just me and my Muslim community, or just me and my Christian community, just me and my Native American community. And so that doesn't work anymore, because the reality is that we are together. And it looks like we are not going anywhere. So then it's better to just relax and let's do it. And it looks like we are beginning to realize that we need to do it. There is no way out. There is just no way out. We are not going anywhere. So it's better to relax and be peaceful and create a new vision that it is possible. For that, we don't have to damage nobody. So the movement to our nature is growing. They are giving us back land and park and things being established because we are growing in consciousness. And people want good food, people want good water and so on. We don't need a corporation to tell us that. We don't need to damage any corporation. The corporations are changing from within because we are not going to keep supporting that. It's not sustainable, and we know that. That the only way out is to change things. There is not like we have some options. You cannot keep polluting the rivers because we all drink the waters. You cannot keep fracking things, believing that gas is better than water, because at the end you have gas for the stove but you don't have water to heat it up. You realize that it's just not sustainable, it's not practical. And we are seeing it, it's just not possible. So nature is making us see things in a more real way. Doesn't matter which big corporation you own. We are beginning to realize that, yes, we need to change a lot of practices. But for that, we also need to change the community practices. Because we all live in this city. In reality, we are not taking care of it. It's a very beautiful city, but it's full of garbage everywhere. The pollution is strong. But we are here. We know that eventually we need to change things. And we are beginning to be more conscious of it. So slowly there are going to be a shift on consciousness as we all begin to become more and more aware. It will happen naturally, not by force, but by nature. It will just happen.
Maybe another couple of questions from the audience. I'm not sure how we're doing on time, but
well, Maestro, you answered the question as I was going to formulate before, because the earlier part of your discussion was centered on the first part of this title, on community, and you started just now to speak about what's coming, the new age, what it looks like. But I was wondering if maybe you and the other panelists could tell us a little bit more about what the new age, or the Aquarian age, new Bhaktan, you know, goes by many names, looks like to you particularly, but also through the lenses of the traditions in which you're trained. So what does the new age entail for you personally and the communities that you represent?
Well, I am already in the new age.
You are.
Because once you expand your consciousness, you realize that you're already there. So for me, new age is about really opening your heart without fear to love people around you and be tolerant to whatever thing they carry, whatever thing tradition they bring. So the culture right now is struggling because in the case of women, we are completely depleted the capacity. We are treated as second-class citizen, which is not the case in traditional culture. So we need to go back to that particular part. We need to work on that. So then we need to just understand that unity is inevitable. The separation is a good business, but nobody's buying that anymore. It used to be a good business. Now we understanding that we need to come together to do things. So that's why corporations are beginning to realize that. That's why corporations are made of other corporations. So slowly we are beginning to realize unity and tolerance over anything. And we need to tolerate people. I don't care what religion you belong to. You are my neighbor, so we live together. There's no way out. The only way out is unity, because we are already here. That is the reality of things. So the New Age model is to, through tolerance and understanding, build the community. And it's happening slowly. We are just in the cleaning process, as the Mayan predicted, say the new Bactun. First we need to clean up, and then we are going to begin to build up. And it is happening. So we need to have the hope that it's going to be that way. There is going to be always the propaganda, the newspapers, trying to pretend that there is a big problem, but it's not. Because there is a reality. We are how many millions in New York City?
8 million.
Very little things happen when you have a city of 8 million people. Most of the time it's very peaceful. So let's say 99%. Once in a while you hear that somebody shoots somebody, that somebody got something from somebody, that there is a crazy policeman or some kind of situation, but it's just a small problem. The reality is that from 8 million people, the majority, we are all very tolerant to each other. We go on the train together, we work together, we work to the same restaurant, we go to the same schools. So we are getting there. It is happening. A lot of people will say, oh, maybe in 300-400 years you get a black president. And it's already here, so it means that there is consciousness. We are beginning to build something special. We are beginning to realize the capacity and the gift that we all carry, which is very special.
Well, we are classically running a little bit over time, so I know that there's many other questions, but we do have the next phase of the evening that we are running behind. So in order to honor that, I think we're going to have to move to any closing remarks or comments, and we'll keep the questions and we can continue the conversation outside of the panel. With that, I would like to offer any closing remarks, comments, anything you'd like to share before we wrap.
Okay, I'll start. First of all, I want to thank you all for coming, because that means that you are interested in community and community building in the future. And I'm very, very actually enthusiastic about the future. I'm very optimistic, because we are, as we say, the new Baktuna is here. The prophecy of the condor and the eagle of the Inca is right here, right now. The fact that a Jewish Israeli person teaches Ecuadorian, Brazilian cultures to people all around the world, that means that the eagle and the condor are flying in the same sky, that we are sharing, we are exchanging. Today it's a lot easier with all the technological innovations that we have. And sometimes it's just really hard to believe that 10 years ago we didn't have Facebook. And Facebook and Twitter and all of that are making us a universal community. I think that young people would never, ever believe that you could not express your idea and somebody in Kazakhstan would not read it in 3 minutes. It's just, our landscape changed. The human landscape is changed in that way. It doesn't mean that humans change, but the human landscape changed. So I'm very optimistic in that way, and I think that with a lot of technological advances that we have now, like solar and alternative energies, the communities and the advancement will be a lot faster. People will meet each other faster. And that brings us to the community. And I think that one of the things is that, and I started my remarks that community is the question of size, and that's bigger is not better. I think that communities is usually people who know each other, that intimately know each other. And I hope, and that's what my belief, and I love to see that with a lot of people in our shamanic community, that they start their own circles, they start their own teachings, their own healing, and they develop their own small communities. The problem could be is that people will hold on to their little community and guard it as their own and would not like to share them. And that's why I'm so proud that the New York Shamanic Circle and the Golden Drum are working together for many years now. And I'm so happy to be here quite often, offering some teachings and by use of ceremonies and stuff. So, because I think that if you decide to create a community, to open your heart and share your dreams with other people and build a small community around you, if you can share that vision with other community, and we can create communities that are talking to each other instead of communities that are trying to build a territory around themselves. So I don't see us as one big community, because we really need to know each other's person's name. We need to feel and touch and cry and hug. That part of a family is very, very important. But we can take that family and we can understand that there's another family and share it. So that if we can see it like a web of families, a web of organizations that want to support each other and not competing with each other, that would be a great vision. And I also believe, like the UN sees it now, that we are all sharing the same great mystery, the great God, by many names. And we are all the same, we are all one. And I think that realization, that's really what the New Bhakti is about. It's about, what they say, it's about cooperation, it's about sharing, it's about the return of the feminine energies. And I'm talking about sharing the feminine energy, not just as the rise of women, but allowing male to express their feminine energies too. And that's really what community is about, that, It's about allowing the feminine energy, the nurturing energies, to come to the surface instead of the male energies of separation, war, ideas. It's really the return of the feminine energies back into life, associated with, of course, the earth and the plants and the fire and the passion and creativity, the life-giving forces. So I'm very hopeful that the life-giving forces will win. I hope.
Thank you. Thank you, Maestro. And thank you, Sadek. And thank you all so much for being here. And thank you for all of the times that you have shown up to the harder, more difficult moments in your life. And thank you for those times that you provided solace and support to others. A small ripple can create a really huge wave and a lot of change. So I know that I and this community supports you in your quest for deepening your understanding of community, for growing your consciousness. So thank you for coming here tonight and being in the energy of this work. And thank you.
Well, thank you, Itzhak.
You're welcome.
Nice to see you again. And this is what community is all about, sharing. So thank you, Amanda. Feminine energy. Thank you. So we are looking for a building, just to be practical. Do you know any building that is for sale that we might be able to purchase, or let us know, send us information. We are in that process. And
I
thank you for
heard that
keep
Yonker
supporting.
is cheap.
Yeah?
I heard that in Yonker,
Where?
in Yonker,
Oh,
Brooklyn is overpriced.
well, you let us know. So the community is open for any idea that you have, workshop that you wanted to bring here. We are open to that. So welcome to the family. Thank you for the people that put together this weekend. It's very special. Thank you, Sadek. Moon, thank you for everything that you guys are doing. Kira, thank you for putting it together. And all of you, you know who you are. Thank you. Aho.
Oh.
Well, thank you very much for being here and sharing your knowledge and wisdom with us. It's always a pleasure and honor, especially on the 100-year anniversary birthday solar return for a great advocate and messenger of peace and harmony and community, Maestro Ferrier. And I know the three of you are all traveling on to your various destinations around the world to share, continue the sharing. So many blessings for your upcoming journeys. And may the communities continue to grow. Thank you everyone for being here. And clearly we need a new building. Look how packed this room is. My goodness, this is amazing. Thank you so much.
Golden Drum.